Welcome, everybody. This segment on the main stage is young people, young writers. We have a voice too. Your facilitator, Dr. Andrea Anthony, educational specialist and basketball coach. And we have Shania Daughtery and another young lady that'll be coming on. And Dr. Anthony, go ahead and tell us a little about your background. And as we wait for the young people, dear Jasmine Evans
Hi,
disappeared. So I'm going to get out the way, ladies, and let you do your thing. Have a great forum.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to this awesome session. I have two outstanding young people who are joining me this morning and who will be highlighting their books. We'll learn more about them. I had an opportunity to interview them earlier this week, and I was inspired as a old lady talking to two young, vibrant young women who are just energetic, intelligent. I was inspired. I learned some things from them. And so Shania will be, Shania will be joining us. She is in another session. So as soon as she finishes with that, she'll join us. So right now I have with me Jasmine Evans. Jasmine is the author of a book. You'll find out more about that as we continue to talk, because I'm going to let her showcase herself. I have both books sitting right here in front of me, and I recommend Jasmine's book for young children. It's a mystery, and I'm telling all my family members about it who have children. I've already told them where to go to get the book, so I'm really excited about it. And then Shania's book will be encouraging for us, especially the older teens, college students. And so I don't want to belabor this anymore. I want to introduce to you Jasmine Evans, and we'll just go ahead and begin our dialogue. Are you ready, Jasmine?
Yes, I am.
Yes, good morning. We're happy to have you here with us. So let me just start out by asking you, when did you start writing?
I've been writing for a few years. I would say about fifth grade is when I really got into writing and writing a lot. I had a very encouraging teacher.
Wonderful, wonderful. And so we do know that, writing really takes place at an early age. Preschool, you start drawing pictures, and then they tell us about your story. And so wonderful. So what inspired you to start writing?
I've always been an artist, but I've always liked telling stories. I've always wanted to draw characters and come up with personalities and backstories for them and share them with the world.
Wonderful. So have you always wanted to be a writer?
I haven't always wanted to be a writer, but I have always wanted to do things related to writing, such as drawing and animating and poetry. I've always been interested in those.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us, Jasmine, about your book. Just, don't give too much away, because we want people to go and purchase the book. So just give them a little appetizer on your book.
Listen for Echo is a story full of twists and turns that surrounds a group of teenagers that discover a mysterious animal called a Draconicus. So there's a lot that happens, but essentially the teenagers are trying to discover more about the Draconicus and their own world and their own lives. But of course, there are obstacles in every story.
Right. So you said a Draconicus?
Yes, a Draconicus.
Tell us, for people who don't know, they might say a Draconicus. What's that? Can you give us more insight about that?
Yes, a Draconicus is a mythical creature. The name comes from the Latin words for dragon and horse, and often Draconicuses are portrayed as an animal that is part dragon, part horse, and a bunch of different animals mashed together.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. So So you wrote this book. It has been published. So can you tell us what was the journey like writing the book from beginning to end?
Well, at the beginning, I just started writing. I thought, okay, this is going to be really easy. All I got to do is take what's in my head and put it on paper. But then as I started getting towards the middle of the book, it did get a little bit harder. I was like, okay, now where do I want this storyline to go? Where do I want this storyline to end? Do I want to bring in more storylines, which I knew I shouldn't have done? I ended up bringing in a lot of different storylines. But by the end, I was getting closer to how I wanted it to end. And I decided, okay, I'm finally happy with this. I think this will do. So let's go with that.
Wonderful. And we have a lot of people watching who are authors or who are inspiring to be authors. So what was the most surprising thing you discovered while you were writing your book?
I discovered that it was a lot harder than I originally thought. When I first started, I wrote about 2 chapters and I thought, okay, this must be a lot of words. And then I checked the word count and it was only maybe a couple thousand. So immediately I looked up, okay, how long is the average novel or novella? And it was tens of thousands of words. So I was like, okay, this is going to be a little bit harder than I thought. So I had to start writing down more and more of what I wanted to do so I could actually articulate what was going on throughout the book.
And so you told us earlier that there's many characters in your book. Is there one main character that just holds a special place in your heart?
The character I love the most would probably be Amelia. She's probably one of the most mysterious characters in the book. And she's just, I can't really explain it without giving the book away, but her relationships with people are just so interesting, the way that I've put them together. I think that she has a lot of layers to her.
Okay, can you hold on a minute? I think Shania is trying to get in, so I need someone to help her. I'm sorry about that. What advice would you give new writers, someone who's just starting out?
I would tell them that anyone can write. You just need to figure out your style and how writing works best for you. I've seen people write in so many different ways and they can all work. You just need to polish them. And when you think about what you want to write, just think of an idea and immediately write it down. Because if you think too much about the idea, you're never going to write anything. So just start writing.
Okay, wonderful. So I didn't ask you earlier to tell us, are you in high school? Are you in college? Tell us your age, and also tell us how old you were when you wrote and published your book.
I am currently 17 in high school, and I wrote Listen for Echo when I was 15. It took a very long time. I ended up publishing it when I was 16. So, yeah.
So how do your friends and your classmates feel about going to school with a famous author?
Every time I get into a new class and the teacher says, tell me something about yourself, I always say, I wrote a book. And everybody's like, oh, wow, that's awesome. What's the name of it? Where can I buy it? And I always tell them. And everybody's always like, I kind of want to write a book now. Can you help me write a book, or can I get some advice? So it's nice to see a whole bunch of people starting to want to write, because normally like a cliche like a stereotype among teenagers is that they don't want to write or do anything academic. So it's nice to see that I'm inspiring my peers to want to do something like that.
Yes, very true. That is so true. And I'm glad that you are part a group of young people who can inspire other young people because everyone doesn't write the same. Everyone's imagination is not the same. And so I think it's inspiring for young people to have an opportunity, like you said earlier, just start writing. Don't worry about penmanship. Don't worry about misspelled words. Just write. Just get it out of your head. And then you can go back and do all that other stuff later. Have you read books that we should know about?
I'm sorry, could you say that again? You were breaking up.
Have you written any other books that we should know about?
Sorry. I do have 3 works in progress, but none of them are out yet, unfortunately.
So can you give us a little teaser and tell us what those books are?
I have a sequel to Listen for Echo in the works, as well as a sci-fi about a dystopian future, which would be these characters here. And then I also have a book which is sort of like a 3-in-1 story about the characters I draw, which would be these guys are 2 of the main characters there.
Okay, wonderful. So what would you like people to know about you that I haven't asked you already?
Well, I'm just another normal teenager. There's nothing special about me that makes me amazing at writing or good at writing or better or more or have more potential than anyone else. All I did was just write. I'm also an artist and an animator, and I love animals.
Wonderful. And what do you like to do when you are not writing?
Draw. I draw and read a lot, and even when I'm not writing, I'm almost always writing.
What are your aspirations after you graduate from high school?
After I graduate high school, I want to go to community college and then Cal State, and then go to college, go to a veterinary school to become a veterinarian.
Okay, wonderful. Do you have a hero or a shero?
My hero would probably, she's not a writer, but it would probably be Pink, the singer. Her songs have always touched me in such a way. She doesn't feel like a lot of the popular singers you hear nowadays. She feels more genuine than them. So I've always wanted to be like her.
Okay, and I'm not familiar with Pink. I don't know if I'm the only one here that doesn't know about Pink. Does she wear pink, or is Pink just the name that she chose?
Pink, I believe, is a name that her friends gave her when she was younger. So she's just kept that name.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you were able to describe yourself in 3 words, what would those words be?
They would probably be intelligent, creative, and introvert.
Okay. And I believe all those words line up with a lot of the information that you've already given us. So definitely intelligent, just for being here with us today. And you seem very poised and confident and assured that what you have done and what you are doing it really sounds like it's a passion. And so it's not something that you're forced to do, but you're inspired to do because it's just something that's within you. Am I correct? Am I on point? So how would your friends describe you at school?
A lot of my friends say also that I'm creative. They say that I'm pretty caring and I know what to say to them when they feel down. They say that I'm very imaginative. I think outside of the box for a lot of problems in class.
Okay. And so when you say you think outside the box for problems in class, is it a discussion that you all are having on a specific topic, or is it an issue that's occurring within the classroom?
It's usually like a problem, like an assignment, like we're having a discussion in class. A lot of more literary problems, you could say. In one of my English classes in the past, we had a quote of the day that we would have to analyze. And a lot of people would end up saying the same things, but I would usually try and figure out another way to interpret the quote.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. If you could cure a disease, what would it be and why?
Definitely cancer. It afflicts so many people, and it hurts a lot of people when somebody unfortunately succumbs to it. And I just feel like if that could be cured, then a lot of people's problems could practically be solved. It's like I don't really like seeing so many people upset in their lives because there's something that they can't control happening to them or somebody that they love.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I really wish I could cure.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for giving us that honest answer. Are you on social media?
Yes, I am on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
So can you one by one tell everyone and your readers, your new readers, where they can find you on each platform?
Yes. So Twitter and Instagram have the same handle. It's Hooded Rare, spelled like this, with an underscore between hooded and rare. And then YouTube is Hooded with a capital H, Rare with a capital R, a space in between.
Okay, wonderful. And where can your readers, your new readers, find your book? Where can they purchase your book?
They can purchase Listen for Echo on Amazon.com.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like us to know about you?
I believe that's it.
Have you decided on what college you're going to go to?
First, I'm going to go to West LA Community, and then I'm going to try and get into CS Long Beach.
Okay, wonderful. So we have a lot of people out here listening who are part of this session. And so hopefully they are listening and will keep you in mind. I'm sure we have educators on here, people that have connections. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have an awesome, enthusiastic, creative author here in our midst. And so please keep Jasmine in mind when opportunities come up. She has given out her Twitter and her Instagram handle, and she has also given us her YouTube handle. And so it's sitting over the top of her head. And so please make a note of that so that we can keep in touch with Jasmine and follow her. And we look forward, Jasmine, to your other books coming out. And so is Jasmine's book. And ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us with an awesome conversation with Miss Jasmine Evans. Do you have a booth with the expo?
Yes, I do.
Okay, wonderful. So please visit Jasmine's booth, learn more about this awesome young lady. And Jasmine, thank you so much for joining us today. And we will continue to follow you and support you and continue to have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Have an awesome day.
You too.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask for you to just hold on. We are going to get Miss Shania Daltrey in here.
I tried to call her a couple of times, and maybe it's her. Okay, so I'll see if I can connect the dots with her.
Okay,
So tell her about your product that you have.
So tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Dr. Andrea Anthony. I have an extensive background in education. I've been a teacher, a principal, consultant, educational consultant. I do that also now. I worked with Scholastic, the book publishing company. And at this specific time, I am working with young people who are trying to navigate through this virtual learning. So I have offered my services to parents and families and also school districts in helping our children. A lot of children and parents are having a difficult time navigating through this whole virtual learning online with their teachers. I have 5 beautiful young ladies that I work with every day, and also learning where the gaps are in their education so that I can support them in that area. But if you go to my booth, you will find that I am encouraging everyone who uses a cell phone, sit in front of a computer like I am right now. I have a cell phone, and I have a microwave, I have a smart TV, I have all these devices. And so if you are not aware of 5G and what happens with all the radiation around us and how it affects our health, I invite you to join my booth. There's a 2-minute video that will give you more detailed information. And I am selling the patch that goes on your cell phone. You put it. I also have a laptop that I carry with me. I spend a great deal of time in front of my computer, and so I have a patch on my computer. You can also put one on your smart meter. A lot of us have smart meters nowadays because the gas company, they don't go and read meters. They have a device and they point it at the meter, and that's how they're able to read your numbers. So the name of the company is Ingenious Solutions, and they are promoting the healthy and the well-being of all Americans and encouraging you to protect yourself from radiation. And so please go by and see my booth and learn more about it. Please watch the 2-minute video. I can't do it any justice on how they can explain to you the importance of protecting ourselves. And I just have my hands in a lot of different businesses. All right. Shania is with us.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. So how did the last session go?
It was great, hearing young authors and hearing about, her story. It sounds familiar because it does take a long time to produce a book, especially in high school when you're trying to, be a teenager. When you're trying to be a teenager and just go through the motions of having, a regular life in high school, but at the same time, when you're writing for the greater good, you're just trying to impact more than one life. You're trying to be a voice, one of many voices of your generation. It's well worth it. So I understand completely.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining us. We're so happy you got on. I was trying to buy some time, and
I know it was
about myself.
Technical difficulties. Hop in is something else.
Well, we're glad you're made it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Miss S.L. Daltrey. I am also holding her book. I had an opportunity to interview this amazing young woman. Like I told you early on, I was inspired by interviewing her and Jasmine. And so, Shania, we're just going to jump right in. And so, please tell us, when did you start writing?
I started writing during my junior year of high school, and I got published during my senior year of high school. And it took me 10 months to write the book. Give me 1 second. But I started writing during my junior year of high school, and I got published during my senior year of high school. And then the March of 2019, I had my first book signing. So that's initially when I started writing my first book, Generation Z.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you
So
so much.
what inspired you to start writing?
Well, I was inspired by the student survivors from the Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland, Florida. What they were able to do with the power of their voice, what they were able to do because they had the fortitude and the courage to speak out when people said it wasn't the time to talk about gun control legislation. They had the courage to call out the president, call out politicians, journalists who said, oh, we'll get back to it. They wanted gun control legislation, stricter gun control legislation now. What they were able to spark national movement, it was a catalyst for school walkouts nationally. I participated in my own school walkout. And while I was sitting or standing on the grass of my high school, listening to my school choir sing Imagine by John Lennon, I was like, I can be one of the many voices of my generation fighting for change, trying to inculcate change for the greater good. It's not just what you're doing in that moment. It's not about what you can do today, but it's about what you can do tomorrow, the next day, 10 years from now. Because if you can impact one person's life, you automatically just impacted 100. And that's what they were able to do to me from this great state of Florida. Their impact, their fortitude, their courage stretched beyond their school. It stretched beyond Washington, D.C. It stretched all of it across the United States of America. And so what they ultimately inspired me to write my first book, they inspired me to put pen to paper.
So prior to that, did you have any aspirations on being a writer, or did that spark the inspiration?
Well, in middle school, I was more of a history and English type of student. I wasn't really big on math. I was good at it. I got my A's. I got my B's on my test. But I loved writing essays. And what sparked that, I believe I was in 7th grade, and we had to write an essay on a poem by Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled By.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I love that. I'm always drawn back to that specific piece because I love my essay. I love writing it. I love having to analyze and think about what does it mean on a bigger stage. What road less traveled by? Yes, it seems like a straightforward poem, but to me it was deeper. And so having an opportunity to write about that specific poem, and then getting great feedback from my teacher, and then being able to take a creative writing class in middle school and getting excited about, Mom, look what I wrote today. Does this sound good? Because our words are so important. Yes. Whether you're writing them down or whether you're having conversation and dialogue and discourse like we're doing now, they're so important because our words have power. Even in James in the Bible, James said, with our tongue, we can either bless our life or curse our life. Yes. Words have so much meaning. They are so impactful. And so for me to be in a position and to have an opportunity for my words to hold weight and maybe inspire others and maybe inspire Gen Zers, other young people to get involved and get engaged and realize that it's bigger than us. It is bigger than us. Yes, but it does start with us. It starts with us. And so in middle school, I never imagined myself, or even before I got to high school and had the opportunity to write my book, I never seen myself, oh yeah, I'm going to be an author when I grow up. I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be the next Nikki Giovanni or Maya Angelou. It was just something that, happened, and it was a seed that was planted by my mom, because she said, never set limitations on yourself. Never set limitations on yourself. So having
awesome, Mom.
Awesome,
Mom. So tell us about your book, but just give a little bit, because we want people to purchase your book and give it away as gifts to other people too. So just give us a little appetizer about your book.
Well, ultimately, my title is Generation Z. We have the power. The Sleeping Giant Awakens. We have the power, because it is about Generation Z. 2.5 years ago, when I started writing this book, all we heard was millennials this and millennials that, but you didn't hear about Gen Zers. You didn't hear about 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds talking about flooding the polls or talking about engaging, but we were. I would look on my Twitter feed or my Instagram page, and people worried about, voting. And now presently, a lot of young people are so worried about our country and where it may be 10 years from now. How this election may impact our children's lives, and whether or not you did something to try and inculcate necessary change or try and engage in necessary good trouble, as the late great John Lewis would say. And so me writing this book, and what my book is about, is understanding the power that our voice wields, understanding that what you have to say matters, understanding that leaders, venerated leaders who came before us, they passed us the torch, but it's our job, it is our duty to continue to carry it on. And so young people, my first chapter, and this is I'm gonna give y'all a little sauce, before y'all don't even have a book.
That's right, just a little, just give them a little sauce, not too much.
I'm gonna give y'all a little sauce, but my first chapter of my book is we are more than Snapchat and selfies. Because we're not just here. Yes, we may take pictures on Instagram and post on Twitter. Yes, we may look good. Yes, we may look fly, because that is my generation. We are fly, but we are also fly movers and shakers. We come dripped out, but we are ready to make a change, right? So we are more than Snapchat and selfies, because it transcends beyond the pictures that we take in our cell phones, because the devices that we have in our hand are used as tools to try and inculcate necessary change that our country so desperately needs. Because we're not just worried about how we look in the camera, but we're worried about what our children's lives are going to be like, or whether or not they're going to have health care 10 years from now. So we are more than Snapchat and selfies. We do have a voice, and understanding the power that our voice wields, and understanding that great venerated leaders who came before us, it's expected that we continue on where they left off. That's a little sauce.
All right, good. Just a little bit. So tell us about your journey writing the book.
Like I said, I apologize for cutting you off, but like I said, I started writing during my junior year of high school, and I remember I was sitting on my couch, and I was watching the March for Our Lives rally take place. It was nationally televised. I feel like everybody in the world was watching that event happen. And I was like, wow, look what they're doing. They're 17 years old. They're 17, 18-year-old, haven't even graduated from high school yet. And I'm sitting here, my mom was like, oh, you can do that too, right? You should write a book. And initially, I brushed it off. I didn't think she would see it. Like, who am I? Who am I to write a book? I'm 17 years old. I'm just trying to get through high school and AP classes, preparing for my AP exams, right? So who am I to write a book? You guys, don't self-doubt. You never know what you can do. But going to Alabama during that time, I was a junior, so I was visiting my dream college, and I ultimately am. I do go to University of Alabama, Roll Tide. But during that break, my mom called me again and was like, have you started writing yet? I said, oh, you are serious. So I started writing. I started on my phone, and people think writing a book has to take place at a desk, has to take place in front of a computer screen. No, it doesn't have to take place in front of a computer screen. I literally started writing in my phone on my notes. And the process of that, I watched a lot of documentaries. I had to read, books that I included in my own personal book. A great book by Michelle Alexander, The New Jim Crow. That was a necessary and powerful addition that I had to add. And so I had to do a lot of research. I had to do a lot of retyping, editing. I had to write a piece every day. But the crazy part is I still was able to have a life as a teenager. I was still able to experience a summer where, I can hang out with my friends and go to the movies and things like that. But I knew that every day I had to write something, whether that was a sentence, whether that was a paragraph, something was going to be put down in that note, on that notepad in my phone. So ultimately that took 10 months to do. It took 10 months of consistency. And sometimes I didn't want to write. I said, Mom, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. It was hard, but consistency, that's going to get you over the hump. If you can stick with something long enough to see it through, and then see the fruits of your labor, that's all that matters. And so, ultimately, that was my process of writing the book.
Okay, so during this time of writing your book, was there anything that was surprising to you? Anything that was like unexpected and just surprised you while writing the book?
I was surprised I think it was funny because I knew, I was like, I didn't want my book to be long, because people, they look at a 300-page book and they get intimidated, not just because you can't tackle that book, not just because, you can't read it, but it's the fact that, do I have the time to do so? So I said off rip, Mom, I want my book to be short. I don't want it to be long. And so when I got to page 57, I gave it to my mom. I came in all happy. I said, Mom, like, we're done. We're at page 57. That's, hard work. I said, here's we can give it to the editor now to finish. She said, what you mean the editor to finish? And so she said, sit back down. We're going to double back and we're going to write some more. And so ultimately 138 pages came to pass in my book. And it's information that is to the point. It's information that tells you what it is, and it's easy to understand. It's relatable, because at the end of the day, I remember my friend Russell, he was reading my book a couple months ago and said, wow, what you wrote 2 years ago still is, apparent today, or it's not apparent, but it still makes sense today. It still relates to what's going on in our country today, and even more so. And so that was something that was, renowned to hear, and it's a good feeling knowing that your words transcend a timeline.
What's your favorite part of the book?
My favorite part is the beginning of my book, The Constitution of Generation Z. We, the young people of the United States of America, in order to form a more cohesive union, must stand on principles and work towards justice for all. We must stand on truth and challenge bigotry, make no excuses, only changes, and strive to be the best that we can be, to make way for a more humane and fair world. We pluribus unum, out of many, one. So that was our own little remix of, the preamble to our own Constitution, but pertaining to Generation Z.
What advice would you give a new writer, someone just starting out?
Don't be hard on yourself. Set goals. If you have a set goal in mind, if you know you want to get the book out on this time, you need to have a goal set in mind. You need to know how many pages you set to write one day, or how many words you plan to write that one day, or how many hours you plan on spending on that one day. So it's important not to go hard on yourself, because you're young, you're new, and you're inexperienced for the most part. So you can't compare yourself to people like James Patterson. So you have to really take it easy on yourself, and just remember, everybody has goals. Everybody has, if you have a goal, then you know where you want to get to. So,
right.
That's the best advice I can give to a new writer.
Great advice. Great advice. So, what would you like people to know about you that we haven't discussed yet?
I am, aside from being a writer, I'm an activist. In regards to that, I consider myself a voting rights activist. Especially among the young people, because statistically and historically speaking, voter turnout among the younger generation, 18 to 23-year-old, it's ridiculously low. Young people don't vote. That is what they say. And so my whole idea, my whole message is that young people are ready to get active and engaged. And so that was the whole reasoning. That was my whole reasoning behind starting my own clothing line, Vote. And it's I designed customizable graphic tees in regard to this upcoming election, because that's how important it is. That's how important it is for young people to realize that our vote does matter. Our vote is our voice. And so that's what people need to know about me. Like, aside from a writer, I'm a voting rights advocate. I'm a Black entrepreneur with a small business. So, yeah.
Well, wonderful. So you are an author, you are an activist, and you are a business owner. What do you like to do when you are not writing, handling your business, or speaking?
If I'm being honest, the days are hectic, and so when I have an opportunity to, I like to sleep. I like to take a little nap. I like to binge watch shows like, The House of Cards or Mad Men. I like shows like that, because you always come out with a message at the end of it, and when I have an opportunity to do so, I like to sleep. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I like to binge watch and I like to sleep.
Hey.
So that's the honest truth.
Thanks for being honest, because I'm a part of that club too.
Yes, ma'am.
So who is your hero or your shero?
My shero is my mother. So without her, ultimately, without her and God, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be Shania Doctor. I wouldn't be a student at UA. I wouldn't be, anything ultimately. Because everything that she's done, everything that she's accomplished is basically has to be a reflection. Okay, bet what is your daughter going to do? My mom is a brilliant woman, in my opinion. You can put her in any room with a doctor, lawyer, historian, politician, and she will be able to keep up with the conversation and then some, because that's how well read she is. If you're not an avid reader, you're not going to be, a great writer, and she's a great writer. She's a profound orator. So everything that she does, I'm trying to keep up with her. And I know there's a gap in age difference, but if once you get to a point where you see her in action so many times, and you can see how well she can integrate and flow between conversation, it just makes you wonder, like, okay, well, I got to keep up with her. I'm gonna speed up to her. So ultimately, she's my shero. So she works really hard.
Great. Well, I love your mom. I'm inspired by her and her passion and her desire to pour into your life growing up. So I'm inspired by your mom. If you could cure a disease, what would that disease be?
If I can cure any disease, it would be sickle cell. I say that because I know it is really common among the African American community. I know too many people with sickle cell, and I see the effects of it and how difficult it is to handle, and it's predominantly occurrent in African American communities. So, and it doesn't get as much attention as cancer does, and I'm not saying that's not impacting millions of people, but when you have a disease that's impacting a minority population already, why would you not try to lessen that burden of what they already have to deal with? So if I had an opportunity to cure anything, it would be sickle cell disease.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So we already know you're on social media. So will you please tell everyone where they can find you, on which platforms, and please give us your social media handle.
Yeah, I have a Linktree link that includes everything ranging from my websites to my Instagram to my Twitter. And if I was wondering if I can drop that in the chat, that would be amazing.
Please do. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Can I drop it in the back? I'm gonna drop it right here, see if it shows up.
And then also put it click on event. On stage, and drop it in the stage.
Okay, hold on. Let me copy it one more time because I only showed one part of it. So I'm gonna go to event and stage. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna copy and paste it right now.
Okay.
Oop. Well, hold on. Because it's not copying the way I want to. We have the power.com. So that's my website. That includes my book, my blog posts, my featured articles, and my separate one includes my merchandise, my shirts, my graphic tees, and also my book. And my Instagram and my Twitter is Nia Latrice, NYAAA Latrice, LATRICE. And I can also drop that in the chat as well for both my Twitter and my Instagram. So that is how you can literally get in contact with me, because I'm on those apps every day, all the time. And hopefully you can see that in the chat, right? You can see all that going on in the event stage.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
See it all. Wonderful. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So where can your readers, your new readers, where can they purchase your book?
My book is available on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. You can literally type in SL Daughtry. You can type in the title of my book. But if my book title is too long, you can literally type in SL Daughtry and it will pop up on Amazon. And you should see the book looking like this with my face on it.
Bam.
Yes, ma'am. So
before we leave, is there anything else you would like people to know about you that we haven't talked about already?
I am an intern at my university. I write for my television station on campus. I'm a digital reporter intern. I've been doing that for about 2 months, and I just got promoted to a paid intern because they really liked my work and what I was producing. Thank you. And yeah, like I'm president of Ignite National UA on my campus, which encourages and empowers women to actively engage in the political process and assert and demonstrate their beliefs in the public arena. So everything that I'm passionate about, I try to reflect outwardly into my life, as far as writing, where my end goal, where I want to be, and what I'm passionate about: voting, TV commentation, politics, voter registration. So everything that I am involved in, it ultimately, it's a reflection of what I do daily. So.
Well, Shania, thank you so much for joining me on the main stage and for joining everyone here that's listening. You are an amazing young woman, and we wish you well. Please tell your mom I said hello, because I'm just loving your mom. And tell her thank you for doing a wonderful job raising a beautiful young woman. And we look forward to hearing more about you and seeing you and looking for more come our way. So continue to have an awesome day. And you also have a booth. Do you have a booth at the expo?
Yes, ma'am. I believe so. Yes.
Okay, so everyone, please go to Shania's booth, hear what she has to say, and continue to have an awesome day. And everyone that's watching, thank you so much. And please continue to enjoy the expo. Make sure you network and visit the booths and see what this awesome event is all about.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anthony.
You're welcome, sweetheart. Have a great day.
Outstanding. Great moderation by Dr. Anthony. Love those fantastic young ladies and young people doing
they were awesome,
phenomenal stuff, right? It makes you humble and happy that the next generation of our people are on the right path, and they're going to be leaders, and just happen to be associated with people like that. Thank you so much, Doctor. Any parting words for the people?
Just want to tell everyone to continue to enjoy your day. It's a lot of wonderful information being shared today. And let's continue as older adults to support our younger authors and our young people who are making a difference in the world. They need our support, because let's make our shoulders wide enough for them to stand on and to accomplish the things they need to accomplish. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been wonderful being here, and just have a great day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Andrea Anthony. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Talk to you offline.